Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. Thank you guys so much for being here. We got a Wednesday broadcast for you all. It is Hump Day. Thank you guys again for hanging out, spending some of your Wednesday afternoon with me here today, especially those of you here live and early for the pre-show, where I get to say hi to everybody. Jump in the chat wherever you're watching. Say hello. We'll try to give as many of you as possible a shout out. And we'll get this thing going at the top of the 4 o'clock hour as usual. Let's start on D Live, where we got some of our friends hanging out in the mosh pit. We got Light Our Souls, Qoy, Silbor, Powdered Sugar. Good to see you all over there. Hope you're all having a wonderful Wednesday. Joe Elaine hanging out by herself over on Rumble. Please hit that thumbs up button if you're watching over on Rumble, and share the link and say, hang out with Joe in chat. She's lonely over there. But thank you guys again for tuning in over on Rumble. And of course, the exclusive place to watch the entire broadcast here, hour number 2, only available on pilled.net, our little slice of internet heaven, the home of free speech online. Let's see who's all in the comfy bunker today. We got Lightspear. What's up, Lance? Floyd, Due Diligence, hanging out. Hey, what's up? Disco Daphne with a drive-by high. Thank you for that, Disco Daphne. Hope you're having an awesome Wednesday. Floyd with a Wagyu steak, a hump day cookie. Thank you for the support, my friend, and always making me so hungry as these shows start. We got Joe Elaine modding the chat as always. We love you, Joe. Thank you so much. Ken Chris, good to see you, my friend. We got Patriot 714 out there as well. What's going on, Patriot? Scrolling down past all this pre-show convo. There's that god-awful sticker. Oh, so funny though. Facts Not Fear, how you doing? Barb Robbins in the house. We got Molon Labe Kaiman checking in all the way from South Africa. Shout out to all of our Patriots tuning in abroad. We love you guys. It's really cool to see how far this little broadcast reaches. Qhio 17, General Buford, my man 2A Freedom Rider right here in my backyard, repping the 412. Let's go 2A. Awake Russell. Good to see you. Mama's always right. Patriot Bro out there as well. Lyle, Jenny, Packers 412, Curious One. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Wednesday. Boys Blanc, thank you for the cookie. Appreciate that very, very much. Good to see you. Casey Powwow in the house. Mad Joker. Our Heralds out there as well. Jenker 2 and Jeff Den. What's up, guys? Hope all is well. I see Country Girl 007. Pip's mom. What's up, Pip? How you doing? He's checking in from Wales over in the UK. Very cool. We got Secret Weapon A from PA. Good to see you. Mr. Gerardo, good afternoon, sir. Hope you're well. S. Matisse, good to see you. And we got Kate Landry out there. Brian, 1871 in the house. Sergeant Sparky, Spirit 554. Range Pony, CK Whitehorse 180. Hey, Laura Y repping the 412 as well. Look at that, a Laura Y sticker. The incline, that iconic shot of the point in the Pittsburgh skyline. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. I'm saving that one to the channel for sure. Truth Teller 101. How are you? Country Girl 007. Good to see you. PNW Sasquatch, always in Texas. What's up, guys? Fact Finder, Fazic, Mama Patriot 79, Trump Red Pill. We got Don Ritchie 17, DX, Thirst for Knowledge. Qhio 17, thank you for the can. Cheers, my friend. Appreciate the support. Cycle Chris, good to see you. Sheaves Coin. And let's see, Patriot Drummer, Filter Dog 1, what's up, brother? Good to see you, my friend. Hope all is well. Let's see, Mix Pick, Starwalker 77, Jet Rover 172 in the house, Crockett Man 62, welcome, good to see you. Willow Lady 6, and Dread Quarters, Wang Dang Doodle, what's up, guys? Spicy Chemist, good to see you. CB Joey, what's up, man? How you been? Good to see you, my friend. Nancy's Salty Beaver. That name always makes me laugh. Nancy's Salty Beaver. It's so wrong. Everett home, good to see you. Too quick in the house. Mike Q Kelly, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you guys again for being here, hanging out, being part of our little broadcast. Kaz 1012, good to see you as well. Welcome. All right, we got some friends over on Rumble now. I see Seaside Lady, UFO Pirate 17, Mermaid Mist, Skyworks 107, 17, Mike Q Kelly, double dipping. Love to see it. Sulfonol and Crimson out there as well. Welcome, 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 you guys. And then, yeah, that should pretty much take care of our roll call. If you haven't gotten in the chat by now, well, maybe we'll get you next time. But let's play the intro. We got work to get done here. We'll see you guys in about 3 minutes or so.
We will make America strong again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And yes, together, we will make America great again.
Y'all for tuning in, Patriots United, doing what we gotta do to win. Be addicted, the MSM, and now we're moving in. And once we take over, we won't ever move again. Where we go on, we go all. I say it with pride. No, we won't run, we won't fall. We're right by your side. The demons have taken hold, but none of us will abide. Stand strong and stand bold, that's how we'll survive. 412 is the production. Monday through Friday, deplorable discussions. We're making it hard for the deep state to function. Every time they switch up the narrative, we debunk it. Adol Nero is the power that's controlling the flight. With all you patriots behind them, cause we're all in this fight. So many rhyme for so long, but we're giving them sight. Trapped in the world of darkness, but we're bringing them light. You may even find yourself in a different life. A lot of us have, and honestly, that's perfectly fine. Because exactly where you are at this moment in life is where you're supposed to be at this moment in time. It's all by design, the patriots are holding the line. They must have lost theirs, thinking they're controlling our minds. So many trapped in mental prisons don't know they're confined. They're just slaves in the system to the roles they're assigned. That's sad, the good news is that we're waking them up. They have monopolies on minds, but we're breaking them up. Everything you thought was news, they were making it up. When we ascend, all the tyrants won't be making the cut. Let them all burn in the hellscape they create. We the people already mapped out our escape. We hold each other by the hand as we all elevate and go to a different place. They can never get chased. When I look into the future, I can see that it's bright. When this history is written, they will see that we're right. We formed our own community and the circle is tight. But I expand the circle with every word that I write. The pen is sharper than the sword when you wield it with might. Why do you think they try to kick us off all the sites? These people hate America, punish us out of spite. We are the beacons of hope in the darkness of night. So let's go, strap in, yeah, get ready for the ride. Watch the water, we're witnessing the turning of the tide. Feel the passion and the fire that you got burning inside. Take the narrative they're feeding you and turn it to the side. We're alerted to the lies, we're preaching with the truth. We know the plan they devised, they're invading the youth. Now we're only sending vibes, just start raising our boots. These demons all weaponized, now we're raising our troops. Now we're raising the roof and sounding the alarm. Remember that it's always darkest before the dawn. Life is a game of chess, they want to use you as a pawn. You're only useful until you're not useful, then you're gone. But not us, we're on the right team where we belong. Everybody is invited, so come follow along. We refuse to say things are right, knowing they're wrong. Adol Nero, take the mic and take flight, cause it's on.
And now, straight from the Steel City, it's your host, 412 Adol Nero.
All right, we are back. What's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. How we doing today? Hope you guys are having a wonderful, wonderful halfway mark of your week. Thank you guys for joining us for another installment of Deplorable Discussions. Today is April 17th, 2024. My name is Adol Nero, and we've got my good friend Drunk Pinata, one of my OGs, riding shotgun with us today. Pinata, how you doing, buddy? Good to have you aboard.
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Having an interesting day, but glad to be here. Glad to be doing the show. Quick announcement, and I'll do this again later, but I no taking it back tomorrow. I'm taking tomorrow evening off. I've got just a bunch of stuff going on, and I may or may not be home in time for by 4 o'clock. It would be a very rushed preparation. So I'm just going to remove that stress from my life, take the day off, and I will be back on Friday to wrap up the week with the Garrison. So just letting you guys all know that there's going to be no broadcast tomorrow. And if I do pop on, it'll be, who knows, something very chill and relaxed, just me hanging out, maybe playing some music or something. But I most likely going to take tomorrow off. So I just want to make sure I put that out there now. And again, I'll mention that again a couple more times before the end of the show. But Pinata, how was your show today, buddy?
Really good. We got to the bottom of a lot of what their argument's going to be, and I can report to you that it's extremely, extremely flimsy, as it always has been. But now we
Yeah.
have full confirmation from the man himself, Mr. Barr.
Oh, Bill Barr?
Yes, he has
Okay.
returned to be ambiguous and provide criticism of Trump while also defending Trump. So with the typical thing we've seen.
That sounds about right. That guy never seems to know if he's coming or going.
Yep. So let me start you guys off with the crux of everything, and to essentially summarize what we went over during the show. So we went over this, but this is important context for anybody who has not seen this or understands what they're doing with this. It is my contention that they got Michael Cohen to plead with one of the 8 charges against him federally for this illegal campaign contribution. Now, Barr says that this is the wrong application of the law. It's not campaign finance related whatsoever. But why would he plead to that? Well, I believe that they got him to plead to this because the entire predicate of them going after him was about the supposed payment. They were going because the media was going after him. The FBI obviously is going after him. And so but when they in so doing and investigating this, even if they want to say this was their original angle, they found all these other tax crimes, federal crimes that Cohen was clearly guilty of. If you read through it and you see what he did, you're talking about in obtaining bank loans fraudulently. I mean, the same type of stuff that they accused Trump of doing, but he's literally doing as far as the business and the financial and all that kind of stuff. So here's just to recap for you guys how Bill Barr enters into this whole thing with Cohen before I play the Bill Barr clip.
To try to make the whole case basically go away. This is from Jeff Berman's book. It's called Holding the Line. He says, quote, while Michael Cohen had pleaded guilty, our office continued to pursue investigations related to other possible campaign finance violations. When Bill Barr took over as Trump's U.S. Attorney General in February 2019, 6 months after Cohen's guilty plea, Barr not only tried to kill the ongoing investigations, but incredibly, he suggested that Michael Cohen's conviction on campaign finance charges should be reversed.
Reversed what?
Attorney General Barr summoned my deputy, Rob Khuzami, who was overseeing the Cohen case, in late February to challenge the basis of Cohen's guilty plea, as well as the reasoning behind pursuing similar campaign finance charges against other individuals. Mr. Khuzami was told to cease all investigative work on the campaign finance allegations until Maine justice determined there was a legal basis for the campaign finance charges to which Cohen pled guilty, and until Barr himself determined there was a sufficient federal interest in pursuing charges against others.
Well, that's the predicate part. Now, if you go to Bill Barr, what he's saying today, it's clear that why he was saying, why is he pleading to this? This isn't actually a crime. And so here you go.
Seated 7 jurors total since the Trump hush money trial has begun here in New York City. It's quite a spectacle, quite an event. I know that you think that the prosecution seems far-fetched. Maybe the best way I could, maybe that's the kindest way that I can say that. Your thoughts as to how this is going now that it's underway and what you think about it?
Well, I've said from the beginning, this case is an abomination. You know, it's obviously political. 7 years after he pays hush money to try to come up with this case, it's also, as you say, it's not only far-fetched. They're trying to predicate it on a federal crime, which wasn't prosecuted, and they're wrong about it. This was not a campaign contribution. They're just wrong on the law. But to me, this shows that the real threat to liberty, the real threat to our system, are the excesses of the progressive left. They're perverting the system of justice, and that's where the danger lies.
Well, that's just today. And now here we go to their best case against Trump here. And I think that once you see this, you guys are going to feel nice and comfy the way I feel.
Lying and business part as only Missy territory. Now, the reason there's a criminal trial is that it was more than a misdemeanor, according to the DA. The reason is Bragg alleges that there was a far more assertive and elaborate case, that the larger scheme to distort the election with off-the-books money is a whole second crime. And that takes that misdemeanor offense, and under the law would make it, if proven, a felony. It means, though, that the DA is going to have to prove the lies and fraud were done with intent to commit another crime. I showed you the Constitution. Now I'm showing you the New York law. And this is important because some people might be following this because they don't like Trump, or they don't like his politics, or they want something to happen in the campaign. And that's the real world. And that's fine. Outside the courtroom, people can have opinions. Inside the courtroom, though, he is presumed innocent. And this is the baseline statute. These words at a high criminal standard is what the jury is going to have to decide. Was that done that way or not? And as we see the evidence that Bragg wants to use, we can also see the outlines of the case. And Trump lawyers have pressed to know more. They say, okay, misdemeanor, we got that. That's the lies. What is the other crime?
Yeah. What is it? What is it, Pretel?
Yeah, please tell me.
Well, let me tell you how it's been going down, because some of this is in the weeds, but now that the case is on, now that the jury's being selected, I want to update you on some of what we've learned. Bragg's been pretty tough about this, saying the defendant's not entitled to know which crime or crimes the prosecution will present in advance, that they'll get there when they get there, and you're just a defendant. You have rights, but you don't get every little detail of this leaked out in advance.
How about privately? Can we do privately?
Now,
that's amazing.
Yeah. They have such a great case that they're not going to let you know what it is until they get the trial. And then think about what they did the first day on Monday. They said, Trump's defense team, you need to present all of your exhibits you're going to use and will ever enter into this case in 24 hours. The judge said that. And so
wait,
as long as
they're putting that kind of like deadline on Donald Trump, but the prosecution can hold back the crime that he's supposed. This is so completely absurd. Anyway, good. I'm sorry.
I haven't even gotten to the absurd part yet.
Oh, good.
I'm just joking.
The DA is.
I don't know if you.
Good, Tian.
No, I don't know if you covered this because I was joining at the time, so I couldn't hear. Not only did they told Trump's team and the other New York case, Letitia James one, that he had to present all the evidence and all the stuff up front. He had to present the questions that were going to be asked, and the judge modified the questions. So it wasn't just presenting what you had; he also had to present and get the approval of the judge of what questions were going to be asked of the witnesses.
Wow.
Yeah. That's Alina Habba came out and basically said that in one of the pressers after she had to run into that. Yeah. So this is beyond corrupt.
Yep. And so here we're getting into just how weak their case is. Now I'm pretty sure you guys can all figure this out. If any one of these New York laws that they have listed here were strong and that they could prove, why are they even bringing in the Federal Election Campaign Act in their argumentation? Why are they even trying to suggest this influenced the 2016 campaign? I mean, aside from they say that this is the reason why he paid the money, that's essentially all this catch and kill scheme stuff with the National Enquirer is essentially irrelevant. all the previous ones, the stuff outside of Stormy Daniels in particular. They wouldn't need to bring that in.
Because it's the only way they can bring him in, because they're beyond the statute of limitations.
Exactly.
The only
So,
way is
but they could bring in even another one of these New York laws that would elevate it to a felony for them, even if it's outside of the statute of limitations on its own.
if they had one, yeah.
Exactly. So why even go to the bother of listing all these New York these New York statutes that he potentially violated at all?
Because if he is found guilty of any of these or all of these, doesn't mean anything related to the election. By election interference, they could leverage that for the 24 election and his ability to be on the ballot.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so he's about to go through their flimsy case here. Check this out. This is no. I'm just narrating.
Plenty of crimes to choose from, including the state's election law, tax law, parts of the penal law, and in a twist, even they argue separate federal campaign finance laws, the Federal Election Campaign Act you see there in this filing, and I've pulled out the most important part of the filing for you. That's how Bragg is supersizing this case. I've told you before, this is something prosecutors do. They do it in RICO cases, they do it in mob cases, sometimes they do it against big, complex financial companies. They say, yeah, if you only did that one thing, you might be in the clear, or you might claim ignorance, but we got you on more than one thing, and we're looping it all together. Now, Trump has often walked right up to the line of more than one law. Trump observers have documented that. His own former friends and allies and aides have talked about it, how he'll defy a subpoena and seem to threaten witnesses, how he'll demand people break laws for him and seem to deliberately lie to the government, which again can be a misdemeanor or perjury or a felony even, depending on the context. So to understand this trial, keep an eye on this fault line. We could have opening arguments as soon as next week, the judge mentioned today, although, again, they got to pick all the jurors. But this misdemeanor Elliott part is important. Trump's lawyers might ultimately be fine conceding just things about business lies that only go to the misdemeanor, or the misdemeanor, as Andrew Weissman might say. But they need to shut down anything that could pin down defendant Trump on the second crime, because then you got a felony. And that's the reason Michael Cohen is so crucial. It's not just that he has the receipts on the line. We've heard about that. He's been on our air on this channel talking to various hosts about that. It's because other evidence also shows not only that lie, but that Cohen went to prison for a federal campaign crime. Note how his indictment during the Trump DOJ era even has language that is obviously quite matched to what I showed you Bragg, the DA, used. Quote, Cohen deceived the voting public by hiding information that he believed would have a, quote, substantial effect on the election.
Not illegal.
And you're not looking at an allegation there.
Secret and illegal payments. It's not an illegal payment. So it's my contention that they got Cohen to flip and to say and to agree, because he had 8 felonies, 8 federal felonies, almost all of the majority, well, outside of this one, was all about tax fraud, bank fraud, wire fraud. He was dead to rights. I mean, this guy would have been in prison for 10 years, if not more. And so they said, look, the whole reason we want to bring this case, this is my contention, that the FBI said, look, plead out and think about how fast this moved. And I had to look up the timeline just to see how fast did he go and testify in front of Congress that you saw there. He testified in February of 2019. So, and they raided in July of 2018. They charged him in August of 2018. He pled out in December of 2019, and then by February he's in front of Congress recanting everything and flipping on Trump and starting the narrative of this whole Mr. Trump lies and this and this and that. And so as we know the history, just ahead of what was surely to be the release of the Mueller report. So to me it seems that they got him to flip on that on Trump by promising a sweetheart deal, because he got 3 years for everything, but was out on probation by February, only 2 months after he pled out.
So a quick question for the Trump team to ask is, did you receive any compensation, any form of reward for testifying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
But Tian, did you catch the part where there's history that Bill Barr went in um, to he saw that they were charging
yeah,
Cohen, and this goes back to that 28, when he got appointed in 2019, that he was like, why are you guys charging him? This is not campaign related.
right,
And
right.
and looking I mean, you could tell he even shut down the investigation that they were trying to string along and say, oh, well, Trump, an individual one, and that whole thing. And they were trying to pursue this further. He found out about it, and when he got in there and quashed it. And so then that was a big deal at the time. They said, "Oh, this is a politicized DOJ." Well, it was already politicized because they, to my
Yeah,
opinion,
but Barr
they were
Barr
already
was
trying to falsely say that everything was campaign. And look what that gets us. It's the same thing with a lot of these things. There's an initial lie, and then everything from that is bullshit. So the cleanest example I usually use is the Presidential Records Act in the documents case. They lie about that one little thing, and then everything from that, it's just a bunch of horseshit. And here, I think it's the lie is that this was campaign finance related, and that they can say this was a federal election crime.
yeah. I mean, all you have to do is basically discredit Cohen from a perjurer. And if they are able to get him to say, yeah, that he received a deal, because that would be also documented, there would be another aspect of perjury if he says no, assuming there is a deal, of course, which is, I agree with you in being your contention, because we said that the other day, right? That it's like, look what he's done and look where he's at now. He's doing podcasts and all kinds of stuff and having all those same players that when they go on MSDNC. And the only people that have them is MSDNC.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting. I mean, the way this goes, I mean, there's been some great memes about the jury, though. Did you see I don't know if you saw those. You know that when they had that shout to the sky event, and then there was that woman that's been on every single meme screaming. You're right.
Yeah, I know exactly. Yeah.
She's every member of the jury. She's every member of the jury. And then I think it was then there's another one that said, don't these jurors look familiar? And it was like Obama, and I mean all the left whack jobs, right?
Gonna put like fake mustaches on all of them. Like there's the jury, and then like just
yeah, pretty much. It was pretty funny. I think I don't know if it was Scavino or Nunes truthed that today. It was hilarious. I thought it was hilarious. But yeah, I mean, this is all you have to do is buckle up, because it's going to be an emotional ride. We know they don't have crap. We know that they and his line right there that Trump likes to go right to the edge. Well, yeah, that's what most business people do. The issue is not whether you go to the edge of the edge of the line, if you will, as long as you stay on the legal side.
Exactly.
Remember what they said about him in the bankruptcy and him paying taxes, and it's like, what the hell? I mean, if we had the amount of money that he had, and even though I don't, I look for every little loophole that they give me.
Like Tian, it's like somebody. It's like somebody criticizing you. It's like, man, in a 35 miles an hour, he goes exactly 35, like right up to the edge of that speed limit. What a reckless driver, you know?
Exactly.
Like, it's
Exactly.
fucking.
And then you know how they're playing that up? Did you see the one that Mark Cuban is out there made some snide remark about the amount of taxes that he paid? He paid $328 million in taxes, and he was saying, I do my duty, you know, I pay my taxes. And then he was implying that Trump doesn't. Right? So I didn't even go into it. I didn't even go into it from a perspective of looking to see if and I know it's a digression from what Pinata was saying, but I didn't go into to see if he was saying this is how much he paid for the entire year, or was the installment that he had to pay. Because when you're that kind of individual with that kind of money, you don't file once a year, you file quarterly. And and Trump pays quarterly. So when they say, "Oh, well, he only paid this amount of money," well, yeah, come let's say April 15th, he only pays the last installment. But you have to look at what he paid for the entire year.
Yeah, no, it's totally true. Like I just paid my Q1 taxes for 2024. You know, like you're absolutely right. Like if you looked at what I just paid this time, you'd be like, oh, that doesn't make any sense. Like you multiply that by 4, and then you add probably a bunch more by the time it's all said and done, and that number becomes much different.
Yeah,
Pinata,
exactly.
Pinata, hold off on this one. I got to do our sponsors, and then we'll come right back with it. All right. All right. So let me take care of our sponsors, and we will keep this rolling. Lots more, and I got some clips too I want to play for you guys about the jury selection. I've got a clip from Joy Reid that will absolutely make you cringe, and then I've got a clip from Stephen A. Smith, who I do not like. Stephen A. Smith, I always thought he was one of the most annoying ESPN people. Like, I just couldn't stand him. But man, he said some pretty poignant things lately. He's not a Trump guy. He reaches an audience that is not Trump people, and he's been making some really good points that I think you guys will appreciate. So I want to play those as well. And then there's a bunch of other stuff going on today too. So it's an absolutely packed show. Very excited about it, but we got to take care of earthgardenbotanicals.com, run by our friend Jolene up in Montana. This is an amazing company, and the products are fantastic. White pine needle extract is the newest product Jolene makes. It's wonderful. It detoxes the body really well. It's a concentrated version of the sunshine and pine needle tea, and it pairs great with some elderberry tonic. So if you have a cold coming on, you feel a little sniffle, a little tingle in the back of your throat, this could really nip it in the bud. You take some white pine needle extract, you boost your immune system with some elderberry tonic. Who knows, you might be able to kick it to the curb before it becomes debilitating. Also, amazing CBD and hemp products, all of which the ingredients for them are locally and organically grown on small Montana farms. The CBD oil tinctures are the best I've ever had, and I love CBD oil. I've tried it from a number of places, but this is by far the best. And the flavors, amazing flavors like orange ginger bergamot, peppermint, huckleberry, cinnamon bliss, cherry. Even the unflavored is very, very good. There's something there for everybody. Go and take a look at that. There's CBD oil for pets, Delta 8 R&R nighttime gummies to help you get some rest, a good night's sleep. And then the topical cream, the arnica salve for your sore joints and muscles. You can get that with or without CBD infused. Also, there's fire cider, really good at for clearing your sinuses. I'm telling you guys, a sip of this, whew, it's intense, but man, does it work. If you're getting stuffed up from allergy season this year, the fire cider could offer some immediate relief. Check out the rest of the teas. I mentioned the sunshine and pine needle tea. There's a few other tea blends to choose from if you like to drink tea. And then, of course, the critter juice as well could really come in handy with the summer coming on, keeping the mosquitoes and insects away. It smells good. You don't even realize you're wearing it after just a few minutes of application, except for the fact that you're not getting bit up. You're not getting those annoying little itchy welts all over your arms and legs, neck, shoulders, wherever they might get you. So go check out all these amazing products at earthgardenbotanicals.com. Use promo code 412 at checkout. That'll get you 10% off your order. And say hi to Jolene for us. She absolutely loves you guys. She loves this community, and we love her. So there you go. That is our sponsor for today's show. And yeah, that's that. All right, Pinata. Oh, also, before I go to Pinata for that clip, please hit the red pill button on Pilled. Repost the show if you haven't done so already. And yeah, if you're on the other platforms, give us a like, a thumbs up, whatever it is they use to try to boost us in the algorithms. We really appreciate that. Share the link too, put it out there on your social media, text it, and yeah, let's keep this show growing and get more exposure for it. All right. Go ahead, Pinata. You have one more clip, or I don't know how
Well, a
many more
little bit
clips.
more of a feel good series, because after Ari brought this whole mess of a thing, he had to go to the expert, which you could argue is one of the architects, one of the major architects of the lawfare against Trump is Andrew Weissman. We've seen it through, well, go back to the Mueller report, where he essentially wrote the whole thing. which is evidenced by Mueller not even knowing what's fusion GPS. Like, like that one guy, Gary Johnson, what's Aleppo? It's like, who knows? So here we go. Here's this. Tell me, or I'll show you here. He's not very confident, which is good for us.
I walked through this fault line because it will matter a lot. To pick a simple example, people might be surprised to hear the Trump lawyers say, well, maybe these records weren't accurate. Who cares? Because that's not really what's going to bust him. Walk us through how this could matter as we watch these opening arguments and where the case goes.
Sure. So I think one thing to focus on is that the defense can essentially put up a sort of kitchen sink of defenses. So even if they don't concede all of the misdemeanor elements, in other words, they could say he didn't know about the actual filings and he didn't think they were false. You heard a little bit of that from Donald Trump today outside of the courthouse. So they could say that. But you're right that sort of goes to the misdemeanor component. But then you may hear the defense say, and even if you found those pieces, you cannot find the pieces that make it a felony. In other words, that there is no federal election interference. He did not intend or think about this in terms of a federal campaign violation. He didn't know the rules. He didn't know the law. There was no intent there. Same thing with the state, sort of state election predicate that would make it go from a misdemeanor to a felony. And finally, there's this state tax offense. I think that might be a little harder for him because he paid so much more back to Michael Cohen than Michael Cohen had to pay to Stormy Daniels. So it was clear that he knew that there was a reason for that, and that it's an odd state tax offense because ultimately they paid more than they should have, but it's still a false filing.
And it shows an awareness that this was not a retainer for legal services in 2017, which was the lie.
Right.
This was paying you back off the books for 2016.
Right. I mean, this is one where you are going to hear over and over again, I think, from the prosecutors, use your common sense.
Right.
And that's where, having tried a lot of cases in New York jurors are sort of great jurors to present a case to if you are the government and have a strong case. Because you basically, this is the polite way of saying it, is use your common sense. I mean, they sort of have a meter for detecting sort of spin coming from one side or the other. So I think if you have a strong case, it's generally speaking, New York is a very good place to try a case.
No, they go on.
There's a lot of horse shit.
But he goes on to ask him if, hey, we have all these different things, does that hurt or help us? And ultimately, he says that he thinks that it helps, but you can tell by his demeanor and his actual argument that it's not good that they didn't pick one of these things, especially one of the New York ones, because that's all they had to do was prove one of the New York ones, and then you have your elevation. But they didn't do that. So they have to include federal for some reason, and I think you can honestly or logically conclude that it has to be because those are not violated. Therefore, they have to use a federal thing. But the problem is that the thing that Cohen pled guilty to, even the former Department of Justice Attorney General said was politically motivated and it shouldn't have been charged. It's already, even that in of itself is suspect.
So, and then the question is, how can he elevate it with a federal law, a federal case that has already been rejected by the Federal Elections Commission?
It's just all they keep falling back on is that he intended. It's intent.
Right, but intent. They could say all that all they want.
They're trying. Tien, they're literally all they're trying to do is confuse the jury. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
Trump's team, all they have to do is ask, did the Federal Elections Commission look into this? Yes. What was their judgment? It was not a campaign violation. Not a campaign finance violation. That statement right then and there negates their entire tie-in to election.
Yeah, I mean, it's so obvious what they're doing here. They're clearly trying to, like Pinata said, confuse the jury, but also stack the jury. So like they go in there, with the job already halfway done. Like, you don't like this guy. Let me present this convoluted case and allow your bias, your political leanings to take over, right? And
They
rationalize.
can't wait till the judge says, "Bailiff, whack his pee-pee." That's a note from Flip Wilson. But here it's kind of funny that also in that little segment, the first thing that Weissman went to is what the defense can present, which I found interesting, because it wasn't bolstering what the offenses were. It was, let's say, using conveying the justification from the defense, but he didn't deny that was false. At least for as far as Peñata played it, he didn't deny that was a straw man argument, which I found interesting, right? Because the first thing that they would do as a guest is okay, let me show you how this is legitimate case. But no, he turns around and basically says, this is what the defense needs to say. That was interesting.
Yeah, that was interesting. All right, I have a clip on the jury selection that I want to play here. So let's go ahead and do that. And just a quick reminder to everybody watching on Rumble, DLive, CloudHub, Odyssey, Twitter, or YouTube that in about 20 minutes, we're going to go exclusively over to pilled.net. The link to the stream is in the Rumble description. I'm going to throw it in the Rumble chat and over on DLive. I'll throw it in there nice and early for you guys. Give you plenty of time to get situated and adjusted if you plan to continue watching in the second half of the show. So make sure you go ahead and grab that link and find your way over. Again, we got another 20 minutes or so before we do that, but just wanted to give you guys a heads up. Also, just another reminder, there will be no taking it back tomorrow. I need to take the evening off. I have a few things going on that I couldn't really move. So I'm going to be canceling taking it back this week. But Friday, we will be here for another Deplorable Discussions, and I'm expecting Ben and Tina Garrison to be with us in the second half of the show. So you got that going on as well. All right. Let's watch this clip here. Jesse Waters on Fox News talking about the first 7 jurors selected.
Over half of the jury's already been selected. We already know a lot about them, and it is hysterical. Before we tell you about them, remember that this is a Manhattan jury. It went 87% for Biden. And the judge who's overseeing the selection process is a Biden donor whose family was paid by the Biden campaign. Yesterday, 50 white women wearing masks fled the courtroom, claiming they couldn't be fair to Trump. Anyone wearing a mask at this point is not an impartial juror. Here's one white woman who works in cybersecurity who was excused. Listen.
Did you say you could be unbiased, though?
I did. It's very difficult for anyone really in this country to not come to this with prior opinions. I think we all have prior opinions about the defendant unless you've been like living in a cardboard box.
Show me a juror who says they can be unbiased towards Trump, and I'll show you a liar. That's why we don't have political trials in America. Fairness is impossible. Trump's legal team was given the names of potential jurors, and after Googling them, discovered there were undercover activists trying to sneak onto the jury. One juror couldn't recall any anti-Trump feeling, but when the defense showed him the receipts, he admitted he'd posted on social media, quote, "Donald Trump should be locked up." Another juror said he didn't remember posting anything bad about Trump, and then when shown the evidence, conceded to posting a picture that says, quote, "Trump invites Thai boys to the White House. Thai boys request to return to cage." Those 2 radical liberals got caught lying to the court and were almost seated on the jury. This is what Trump has to deal with. Yesterday, Clay Travis was criticized for suggesting Trump supporters get on the jury. So far, 7 jurors have been seated. Here's what we know about them. The foreman, juror number 1. He's a salesman from Harlem who was born in Ireland. He used to be a waiter, didn't finish college, and likes anything outdoorsy. He's married with no kids. His wife's in school. He gets his news from the New York Times, the Daily Mail, and some Fox News and MSNBC. Never met anybody who watches both Fox and MSNBC, but okay. That guy's your jury foreman.
You don't get out much, Jesse.
Juror number 2, a nurse from...
Was that Pinata?
He doesn't know anybody that watches both. Well, there's plenty of people that do.
But if you look at the 4 that are mentioned there, right? You go from ultra far left, MSDNC, to far left, NYT, to left, the Daily Mail, to somewhat center Fox.
And you know damn well he threw that in there just to be seated.
Yeah. Just to be able to say, I'm fair and balanced.
Exactly. One, or not even one, but 0.5 out of 4 ain't bad.
Exactly.
So ridiculous.
You forgot all the Facebook leads.
Foreman. Juror number 2, a nurse from the Upper East Side with a master's degree. She's not married, has no kids, and lives with her fiance, who works in finance. She gets her news from the New York Times, Google, and CNN. She said 2 things that really stuck out. One, quote, I don't really have an opinion of Trump, and, quote, no one is above the law. I'm not so sure about juror number 2. Juror number 3 is a young Asian lawyer from Oregon. His corporate law firm features DEI on its homepage. He's single, lives in Chelsea, and was wearing a purple jacket. Okay? He claims he's not super familiar with Trump's other charges. He likes to hike and run and gets his news from the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, and Google. Juror number 4 is a Puerto Rican who finds Trump fascinating
What lawyer
and
would not be
mysterious.
interested in the charges?
Yeah, it's none of these sound very good so far. I'm not gonna lie. None of these sound like they're gonna be fair.
Correct.
Yeah, but we'll see. Maybe all we need is one to hang the jury. We'll see.
Quote, he walks into a room and he sets people off one way or the other. I find that really interesting, that this one guy can do all this. Wow. The guy was actually born in Puerto Rico, lives on the Lower East Side now, and works in IT. He's married and he has grandkids. Wife's a writer. Previously served on a jury, but says he doesn't remember the verdict. He gets his news from the New York Daily News, the New York Times, and Google. Anyway, juror number 5, a black woman in her 20s who doesn't follow the news and didn't know Trump was facing charges, any charges, anywhere. She lives in Harlem. She's a teacher. She's not married, has no kids, and lives with her brother, who's a basketball coach. She gets her news from Google and TikTok. She also listens to Charlemagne the God. Juror number 6.
So wait a minute. How could you not know? Wait, if you're listening to Charlemagne, how could you not know that Trump has charges against him?
Because they're lying. Clearly, they're lying.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
People are liars. Absolute liars. And this again is why having this in Manhattan is such a joke. It is such a joke.
You can't even Google anything about Trump without the crap coming up first.
Yeah,
particularly if you're doing Google search, native Google, not Free Spoke or any other search engines. If you're searching out of Google, you're going to get everything about Trump, what Trump is facing.
Yep. This is again. There's not a single one of these so far that seems to be on the up and up, based on what we know.
Yeah.
Works for Disney.
A Disney employee. This one's our winner right here.
She made the courtroom laugh because she wanted to know if the trial would be over before September because she's a bridesmaid in her sister's wedding. She's not married, has no kids, and likes to dance. She lives with 3 roommates and gets her news from the New York Times, Google, Facebook, and of course TikTok. And says she doesn't have strong feelings about Trump one way or the other.
Sure.
Okay. Juror number 7 is a middle-aged, balding white guy with a tan. He lives on the Upper East Side, and you guessed it, another lawyer whose firm is big into DEI and ESG. He's originally from North Carolina, married with 2 kids, and his wife works at a bank. He gets his news from the New York Times, the Journal, the New York Post, the Washington Post, and he listens to NPR. So that's the jury of Trump's.
I mean, fuck. That's not a good start. Your first 7 there, not a single one of those seems like they would be objective or unbiased. Again, I don't know what's in these people's hearts, but you look at the news sources, you look at the demographics, you look at their professions and who they work for, and you could see that Donald Trump and his defense will be ice skating uphill through this entire trial. Throw in a judge that is clearly compromised and conflicted, and this is heading towards a predetermined outcome, and it's so bad for our country. It just removes all trust in our justice system, and that's one of the core things of our country that's supposed to be unique. Is due process, equal justice under the law, fair trials, the right to defend yourself in a fair venue. All of that right now is being thrown into jeopardy, and is to kind of mirror the point, or just straight up steal the point that TN has been making for so long, is forget about the fact that they're doing this to Trump. The fact that they're doing this to Trump, maybe the single most high profile individual in the world, definitely in the country, is to set a precedent. Because once they're done doing it to him, once he's out of the way, if they can accomplish this, if they can remove him from the picture via lawfare, anybody they don't like will face the exact same fate at one point or another. You say the wrong thing, you donate to the wrong political campaign, you cross this establishment any which way, and you are going to become a target. They'll find a way to rig it against you. And if Donald Trump and all the resources, clout, influence, and exposure he has for his situation, if he can't defend himself, how the hell are you going to? And that's why that meme, or what he says over and over again, is so true. They're not after me, they're after you. I just happen to be in their way. And there's just so much truth to that. So it's a scary situation we find ourselves in when it comes to the lawfare, and how our rule of law, our justice system, and one of our core values of due process is completely under attack right now and being put to the test. We'll see how it plays out. Now here's Joy Reid on MSDNC, and well, I'm sorry for this, but you got to hear the way that these people think. This is one of the most absurd, disgusting, I don't know, misguided, because she's a psychopath, but this is just so, I can't even find the right, repulsive, I guess would be the word I would use.
Before you play that, may I draw your attention to something that somebody brought to my attention, or was asking me? But look at the flag. They've been using that as a transition in a whole bunch of different shows on MSDNC. Yes.
Okay.
It's kind of I guess you could call it an abstract, but to me there's an intention on that.
Yeah, to TN, I've been surmising that they've been intentionally using the black, the red banner, black with white text, as a way to visualize and try to put Nazi flag imagery in people's heads.
Yeah,
I would agree with that.
That would make sense. Because the person that brought it to my attention that did a screenshot was looking at the stars that look like X's.
They are.
Yeah. And but I said, take a look at the entire thing, because there was a face on top of it, right? Because whoever the guest was. But it's just something that they've been using a lot. And it's just, I found that interesting thing to do.
Yeah, no, that's, I'm glad you called that out, TN, because it's subtle. It's subtle, but there's definite intent behind it.
Yes.
Definite intent behind it. Plus that combination of red and black, I feel
Well,
like
and then look at what, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
no, I feel like that color combination in general always insinuates something sinister, right? Like I feel like there's um satanic vibes from it, communist vibes from it, Nazi vibes from it. It's definitely meant to make the brain feel either fearful or hatred or disgust or it's definitely, there's definitely a nefarious psychological reason that they do that. And then you look at the way the stars are all kind of in disarray, and it's not really a complete, there's not 50 of them there. It's there's 100% intent behind that symbolism, or I don't know if symbolism is the right word, but behind that imagery, to make you think and feel a certain way, associating it with Donald Trump. And then also, I think any chance these psychos have to make you feel a certain way about our country in general, they try to do that. So there's definitely something to that. That's a great call out right there. All right, let's play this clip again. I apologize, everybody, but we have to just keep an eye on this stuff.
In prison. But for me, there is something wonderfully poetic about the fact that despite the fact that even if convicted, he's not going to go to prison, the first person to actually criminally prosecute Donald Trump is a Black Harvard grad, the very kind of person that his former staff, the people who worked for him, Stephen Miller, et cetera, want to never be at Harvard Law School. But he was. And he came out and graduated. He's prosecuting you, Donald. And a Black woman is doing that same exact thing in Georgia. And a Black woman forced you to pay a $175 million fine that's out now also in question because the people who put it up, that might not be legit. Donald Trump is being held to account by the very multicultural, multiracial democracy that he's trying to dismantle. And for me, there's something poetic and actually wonderful about that. It says something good about our country that we're still capable of having that happen. Go DEI. My DEIs are bringing it home on today.
You're a racist bitch. That was completely racist.
You think?
And by the way, the whole thing about a Black woman, a Black man, a black this, black that, like they don't want them in Harvard. You know how many Blacks have graduated from Harvard? A bunch, a ton.
It's an inferiority complex that they have.
She's just immediately erased.
They're trying to instill it, and they're holding back their own race, or she's holding back her own race, setting her own race back by getting them to think like that and focus on things like that. It continues to feed this, again, inferiority complex, this victimhood mentality, rather than lift them up. She wants to keep them in a place of like have this chip on their shoulder. The world's out to get me. Victimhood this, victimhood that. It's really, really destructive to the mindset and the psychology of the Black community when people try to bring that forward, rather than focusing on positives and.
But she immediately
putting yourself as equal. They always come from this angle, and it's just so destructive.
Yeah, in particular her, she always goes to the race card. Always, no matter what it is.
Yeah,
no matter what it is.
And she how she signed off the clip, my DEIs.
Yes.
Yep.
She had a clip after the bridge collapse with the mayor, and that this is, remember, they insinuated that DEI means the N-word.
Yeah.
So she was using it in that way.
Yep.
That's
interesting.
I know it's a bullshit thing. No one thinks that outside of actual racist people, which she clearly is.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. All right.
But
I do
just,
have
I
another.
just saying this. I just want to put that because that's what she was doing there. She was saying that on her network, and she knew what she meant by it.
Absolutely. That's a great call out too. All right, we have to go and break up the show here. I've got a clip from Stephen A. Smith that you're definitely going to want to hear on the other side, plus some updates on the Mayorkas impeachment. No surprises, but we'll get into that as well. And then I've got a tremendous amount of other stuff too that we could poke through and get into in the second hour, which is available exclusively on pill.net. We've got the link to the pill.net stream in the Rumble description beneath the Rumble live stream. I'll throw it back into the live chat one more time. Make sure it's right there at the most recent chat so you guys can easily find it. I'll throw it over on D Live as well. So please come join us over on pill.net for hour number 2. And we'll play this little video. We'll come back. Say goodbye to the other platforms. We'll read your gold pill chats, and we'll continue on with the show. So we'll see you guys in 60 seconds.
Pill.net is proud to host 412 Productions exclusively on the true home of free speech. To continue watching the show, we are here to help you over to Pilled. If you're new to the platform, just click on the welcome link provided. It will then automatically walk you through signing up for your free account. If you already have a Pill.net account, follow the link provided directing you straight to 412 Productions channel. We are excited to have you join the Pilled family, and if you have any questions at all, please email support@pill.net. Enjoy the rest of 412 Productions on Pill.net. Free speech lives here.
All right, we are back. And again, just from the bottom of my heart, thank you to everybody who does jump over to pill.net for the second half from the other platforms. That really does mean the world to me. And I just really, really appreciate it. So thank you to everybody joining us on pill.net for the second half. If you're not going to come over, if this is where we say goodbye for today, that's quite all right. We will be back on Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern time. We'll wrap up the week with some deplorable discussions in the first half. In the second half, we're going to have Ben and Tina Garrison of GurGraphics.com joining us. So we very much look forward to that. Saturday, we've got the Saturday morning chat, which we would take your calls, play some music. It's a great way to kick off the weekend. Tomorrow, I am canceling Taking It Back. So no broadcast on 412 Productions tomorrow, unless I pop up with some kind of surprise stream, which is probably not very likely. So just throwing that out there. But yeah, that is going to do it for the first hour of today's show. Again, we have 60 more minutes over on pill.net. Lots of conversation still to have. Please come join us over there in the comfy bunker for hour number 2. Otherwise, have a great rest of your Wednesday, and I hope to see you guys on the Friday show.